We're live. All right. Our audio is good. Video is good. Everything is live. So now, for everybody watching the VOD, the obligatory couple of minutes where I just sort of kill time while people join, which is great because I have an excellent time-killing task right now, which is I am editing or cutting out Meg from this photo here, which is related in part to what we're going to be doing today on the live stream. So welcome to everybody who's starting to filter in. Whoop, that's the whole photo. We don't want to delete the whole photo. I'm just going to spend, I think this should only take about 5 minutes or so. So I'm going to spend about 5 minutes doing this in Photoshop because we'll need it for later. And then we'll like formally start the stream and get into the editing, the fun part. Hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend here in New York. It is like really nice and springy for a change, which means I've got to deal with some allergies, but nothing I can't handle after so many years. How's everybody doing? Also, I mean, this is a private stream, so it's not going to be a real problem here, but let's refrain from any and all discussion about Avengers. If you do want to talk Avengers spoilers, I've created a channel in the Patreon Discord specifically for it, because it is definitely a movie where it's hard to talk about without spoiling, so we'll leave it for that. And then you just got to let me know and I'll add you to that channel. Oh, look at that. People are joining pretty quick this week. I think one of the tricks that helps is you can post the Patreon. I guess let me take this. How many people are here because you knew it was starting and so you like waited for the channel to go live? Or how many of you came directly from Patreon from the post? Because I've noticed you can post a live stream post before the stream's actually live. In the past, I used to wait until I was live, and I know it took a while for like the emails to go out and everything, but now I'm trying to get in the habit of doing that about 5 minutes early so that people have time to get the email and then hop on, and then I start to stream. So I might even go further and post it even a little bit earlier, maybe like an hour earlier, and then just post a little disclaimer. Notification via Patreon in the app. Oh, perfect. That's cool. That's awesome. I didn't even know it did that. So what I'm doing here is, I guess let me start to explain what we're going to do today. So today I want to edit a segment for the Disney vlogs. This is actually going to be for later in the Disney vlogs. We shot this on the very last day of the trip, so it might actually end up being like a month or so before this actually is shown on the channel. But we did a fun bit where Meg here, who is Kat's sister and was there for the marathon weekend with her boyfriend, played this happy-go-lucky sort of Midwestern owner and proprietor of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. And the whole, anchor of the gag is, not acknowledging at all that it is like this haunted fifth dimension Twilight Zone hotel. It's just like, oh yeah, this is just this hotel that's been running in our family for years. And that was one of the gags in it. I said, like, pretend that like you inherited this from generations. It's been in the family for a long time. And as we were going on the ride after, I remembered she's in an off-Broadway play that takes place in the 30s, like pre-World War II Europe. And so I was like, hey, if you have any photos of you in costume, send them my way, because I want to Photoshop a photo of you in like the 30s in front of the hotel and pass it off as like, this is your great grandmother who once owned the hotel. So that's why right now I'm here trying to cut her out of this so that I could eventually put her into a doctored photo of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. I'm gonna try and remove that little passport in her hand, and so it'll be sort of like a B-roll Ken Burns effect, where when she's talking about how it's been in the family, it's gonna cut to the shot of, not technically her, but like her grandmother who is running the hotel. So that's sort of the game plan here. I haven't done any pre-editing for the bit. I haven't even pulled the footage out for the day. So, I think we'll probably spend most of the stream working on the bit. I kind of want to see how long it ends up being and how good it ends up being, because part of me thinks if it is good enough and it is like long enough, maybe like 2.5, 3 minute range, then it might end up just being its own standalone video rather than a part of the vlog. It'll just be like that week, it'll just be this bit. And it's one of 3 bits that we recorded while we were down there. The other two involve Kat, one of which where she is a an aspiring stormtrooper who's like sort of the First Order's fanboy who kind of follows them around in Hollywood studios. And then the other one, she plays Sonny Eclipse's manager. And two very different roles, but very fun. So I've got two of these already. So this is the one image that I'm thinking of using. And then there's this one. And I don't know which one I want to use. So I was going to cut out both. That way we could try both. And I was trying to get them both done before we started streaming, because I know just this part of sitting here and meticulously cutting out a person from a photo is not the most entertaining thing to watch, but I guess it has to be done. They have some tools that help with this. I don't like the magnetic selecting lasso because I feel like it's very finicky. There is a magic brush that sort of auto selects things, which does a pretty good job when it's like a high contrast area. But I notice like with a photo like this, if you look, the edges of like the skin are kind of like jagged because it's not like an amazing camera. I think this was like a cell phone camera. And so what you end up with, I think when you use that, is you get a little bit of a jagged edge, and you could do things to like smooth it out and contrast it. But I don't know. I guess I'm kind of weird in that I like doing it manually, especially for something like this where the doctoring is to make the image look old. So because it's going to look a little, you know, low quality to begin with, I don't have to do like a perfect job of cutting everything out. Although I'll give you a quick look at what those tools look like. Here, actually I'll do it right here with this area. So we'll cut that out. So the magic tool would just grab all of that. It doesn't do an awful job. You know, there's like a little border there, but it works. And then the problem becomes there's not enough contrast here, so I pretty much selected all of her jacket there. That would work. I guess it would help here with her hair. And now I'm actually just going to use it and everything will be fine. Oh, no, so it's grabbing a lot of her hair there. Maybe we'll just do a manual up there. There we go. What do we got going on the chat? Beautiful here in sunny Florida. Awesome, John. I'm out of the loop. Did the Google Hangout date get set? No, it didn't, but I'm glad you brought it up because towards the end of the stream, I was going to announce the dates for that. Which by that, I mean, towards the end of the stream, I was going to pick the dates for that, but I do want to do that in the coming week or so. I was trying to figure out how to do it because it's weird because with the Google Hangout, I kind of in my mind always thought of it like almost like a YouTube channel version of a shareholder meeting. And so my mind immediately went towards like, oh, quarterly, right? That's when they do those sort of things at the end of the quarter. So you're doing it at the beginning of April, like the beginning of July, that sort of thing. And it was weird because I announced the perks sort of when it was already too late for Q1. But I'm going to try and just find a random date. I think we'll get onto that schedule where it'll be like the first weekend of, you know, every 3 months. But then we'll just have the bonus one just to make up for Q1. But we're going to do that. Yes, for sure. Especially now that we're back from the trip. Okay. So what am I doing here? I'm just doing some more cleanup. Where did I start? Oh, all the way over here, huh? Let's see if we could just get rid of this. Oh no, I've deleted the whole photo. All right, let's see if we can do a nice quick garbage delete. There we go. This is like my great zone out activity. Like I enjoy doing stuff like this because I'll just pull up Netflix and watch something on Netflix. I've been watching documentaries and stuff. I'm getting more excited with editing the vlogs. I'll be honest, when I edited the first one, the part that just went up today, I was a little disheartened because the quality just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. And a large part of that was being unfamiliar with the camera and, you know, not being quick enough with setting the right settings on the camera. And it just took me a while to get used to. And so I didn't get a whole lot of footage for that day one. Okay. So we just got to get the front of her face and then we're done. I've also been doing a whole lot of this with other photos for the channel trailer for the Rob Plays Adventure Co., which I still don't fully know how I'm going to go about editing it, but I know the style I want, and so I needed... basically what I'm going to do is, and I love when it's done in videos, but it's the idea of like taking a photo and cutting out the figure and sort of adding depth to it, almost like the multi-plane camera, but like in a post sort of way. And I'm doing that with a bunch of photos from our trips. So it'll be sort of like, hey, come join us on the Adventure Co. and see our adventures in Disney World and, you know, also Disney World and some more Disney World. And all right, well, we really just go to Disney World, but... All right, let's see how this looks. That's fine. And then this, and we're done. It's with the curly hair is always tough. I don't know where to start it or what to follow, and if you follow too many like fine hairs, it starts to look weird. So I'm gonna just go with like down here and just let it sort of blend in there. This is also going to be B-roll, and it's going to be quick, and it's going to be all black and white and aged and stuff, so I feel like it'll be fine. Yeah, so there, we've got the cutout against the original. We're all good. Let me just make sure everything's set up here. Great, awesome. Let's get editing. Let's take a look at the footage first. Let's pull out the footage. It's towards the end of the trip, so it's on this day, and... it would be in the morning. So I think it's this bit here. Yes. So I think it's just these two clips. Yeah, and then I've just got B-roll. So let's go ahead and make a copy of this timeline. There we go. We'll just call it Tower of Terror. And now that we've got this timeline to play with, do I have anything beforehand? Nope, this is just all pretzel stuff. So get rid of everything ahead of time. And then what do I need up until about here? So we can get rid of, and then I'm probably gonna have to use a lot of B-roll from the past of just the hotel from while she's talking. I think what makes these bits great is they're easy to shoot because it's like we just stand there and talk for like 2 minutes and then all the other footage goes over it. So let's see what we have. We have 2 takes. The first take we started recording, and then we kind of got interrupted by somebody who had recognized us, and then we did a second take. But I want to watch that first take just in case there's something at the beginning there that might be worth using. And this is all just the B-roll. Let's lower the audio just a little bit. So it's...
Okay. I'm gonna not look into the camera for this because
yeah, that's fine. You can look at Kat.
Okay, perfect.
Like
you're being interviewed. Yeah.
So, what's your name and what do you do here out in LA?
Well, hi there. Well, hi there. Hello. I'm Betsy Henderson, and my family has had this hotel, the Hollywood Tower Hotel, in our family for gosh, what is it now?
So
Should I start over?
Yeah.
All right. So there wasn't a whole lot.
So what's your name and what do you do out here in California?
So we'll start here.
Well, hi.
Do I have any of her just like hanging around that I could use as B-roll?
Okay.
I'm gonna not look into the camera for this because
yeah, that's fine. You can look at Kat.
Okay, perfect. Like you're being interviewed. Yeah.
So, what's your name and what do you do?
Yeah, so like this I think could be used. So let's pull... Okay, so this we can pull out. This we're going to save because we still have to watch it all. But I still want to pull a couple of clips. No audio, just video.
Okay.
I'm gonna not.
Okay.
Before she starts talking.
Okay. You could look at Kat.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. You could look at Kat.
Okay, perfect.
Like you're being interviewed. Like you're being interviewed.
So, what's your name and what do you do here out in LA?
Well, hi there. And
All right, so we got those two clips. The other thing I want to play with is see if I can make her audio a little bit clearer. Let me see if I can do that before I cut anything up. So we're going to go down our audio tab here. Ever any thought to try some wireless mics? Audio is always a pain in the ass when doing video. I mean, if I was doing like an actual regular shoot, yeah, I would go with like lavs or something. Because we're at the parks, I don't. Because one, I think it might raise a little bit of suspicion with the security when they go through your bags and find a couple of like wireless lav packs. And two, it kind of like, I feel like that almost crosses the line where we're, you know, we try to be a very, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the best way to word it. It's like we try to be like in the moment when we're at the parks, and I think that would be for something that's a little bit more planned out. You know, which I mean, obviously this was a little bit planned because we sat down and we're like, all right, let's do this. But I don't know. I feel like that would get us that puts us at slightly more risk of getting in trouble because technically the rules of the park are you're not supposed to be doing any sort of like professional for-profit video, and I think once you have like lavs on you, that kind of puts you into this realm of you can't argue that it's not a somewhat professional thing. This has been better than the older camera in that this is a directional one, but there should be like tricks that we could do to make it a little bit more focused, which is like this essential sound thing. The other thing is also, in my experience, at least with these DSLRs, or at least the wireless lav kits I have, they don't cleanly go into the camera. Like there's some noise there, which is why when I record at home with the wireless lav, I record into a separate recorder, and that's fine. But part of what you have to do is then you have to take the audio and the video and you have to sync it up. And that's one of the things where with the vlog, because so much of it is so like in the moment, I don't want to have to do like countdown syncs and stuff like that. So, you know, if I ever got into doing more bits outside of the parks, I would definitely up the equipment there. But with the parks, I'm actually always aiming to try and consolidate into less and less gear. For as much as I love this camera, I actually do want to look into see how much I can get this thing fixed, because I actually prefer this over the DSLR just because it's more compact and, you know, it creates a more like spontaneous environment. But yeah, the audio is definitely a struggle all the time.
my name's Betsy Henderson, and what is it now? 5 generations of my family has owned and operated this here house.
So there's like things we're trying to do. Let's see if we reduce noise.
Hollywood Tower Hotel. We're very proud of it, and I took over, gosh, in 1991 in June after my mom passed away, which was too tough on all of us. So yeah, I own and operate the Hollywood Hotel.
Ugh, that audio's tough. There's got to be stuff I can do with it. It's that loud, huh? Jeez. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can lower it some. Let's clear this audio type. Let's just go into this. Let's lower it a bunch.
Hello, my name's Betsy Henderson, and what is it now? 5 generations of my family.
So yeah, one of the things I'm going to look at is...
Hello, my name's Betsy Henderson, and what is it now? 5 generations of my family has...
I don't think this does a good job of reducing noise.
Owned and operated this
Oh, maybe not.
Hollywood Tower Hotel. We're very proud of it, and I took over, gosh, in 1991.
Okay, sorry, I haven't been paying attention to what she's actually saying, so let me rewatch. I want to see what content we're going to keep for this.
Hello, generations of my family has owned and operated this here Hollywood Tower Hotel. We're very proud of it, and I took over, gosh, in 1991 in June after my mom passed away, which was too tough on all of us. I own and operate the Hollywood Hotel.
Who else runs the hotel?
Well, it's really a family effort. So my husband.
Yeah, I notice it like is on and off. There are moments where it reduces the noise really well, and then there are moments where it goes too far and it starts to cut into her audio. So what I think I'm temporarily for now, just so you all don't go deaf, I'm going to leave it on. But what I think I'll do is when I have a final mix, I'll pull that into like Audition, which might have a little bit more, detailed tools that I could use to try and do that, and then see how much of that I could pull out.
Jim helps me out a great deal. My cousin Joe does maintenance, and he's been a big help. We've had a couple of elevator issues recently, and he's doing his best. He's doing his best to help fix it for us.
And have you run into any like hardships with running the hotel in 2018?
Whoops.
Fix it for us. Some people are hoping for those modern conveniences like the, those iPads and whatnot in the rooms, and, those modern, dust-free amenities. But I think it adds character. Those little cobwebs, and there are some friendly spirits around, and some people aren't so harsh with that, but I think it just makes it a little
And then like the sentences you plug the hotel, like you're like, come on down to the Sunset Boulevard, we're open 24/7, that sort of thing.
Come on down to Sunset Boulevard. We're at the end corner here, and we'll find you a great room. Nice and cozy. Top floor.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. It's not too long. There's a little bit I think I want to cut out just to make it a little bit more, because right now it's about a minute and a half. I think in here she kind of, because this is all improvised, so I think there's a little bit of pauses here.
Pads and whatnot in the rooms, and those modern, just amenities. But I think it adds character. Those little. But I think it adds character. Those little cobwebs, and there are some friendly spirits around, and some people aren't so harsh with that, but I think it just makes it a little come on down to Sunset Boulevard. We're at the end corner here, and we'll find you a great room. Nice and cozy. Top floor.
So rather than the cutaway, I'm just going to have it cut there. So yeah, 123, that's pretty good. So now it's the B-roll. Now, the good thing is, rather than digging around for all this Hollywood Studios B-roll, here's my B-roll project. And I don't have everything like totally finished in terms of color correction and all that stuff, but I think the tower I do. That's a great movie ride. That's Fantasmic. Is this the tower? Yep, this is the tower. So I have all this footage here, which I could now take and plop into here. So now we got a ton of footage. What do we have here? Some more B-roll. Oh, this is when I was trying to get... That's the other thing. This camera doesn't do low light very well. Here's the inside of the queue room with the new camera. And let's see, do I have any of the inside of the queue room? Yeah, or like here's the desk versus here's the desk. Like way more grainy. It doesn't do the low ISOs as well as the smaller camera. So I'd actually go as far as to say I don't need any of this, and I could just stick to this B-roll here because it's already color corrected and everything. This is gonna be fun to do, I think. And then we're gonna have to like look for the right music. I want the underlying joke to be that this is just sort of like a normal hotel. So I don't want there to be any creepy undertones to it. Now what I would like to find is in here some kind of photo of the Tower of Terror. I must have, actually, you know what? Let me open my Adobe Lightroom. We can go through my photos and see if I have a photo of the tower that I can use for creating this fake photo. Welcome, Audrey. Let's see. So I've got this photo. Where'd it go? So this photo might be good. I'm trying to see if I can find one that's closer up to the tower. So let me see. What do we have here? Everything's like really low. Oh, there we go. It's like all low resolution. Have I not done any? I want one with the tower in the background. Otherwise, I would look for one of the gate, because I think that would make more sense for the scale, but we got some there. I feel like the tower might be one of those things where I'm like, oh, I've got enough photos of it. I don't need to take any more. And then the truth is I don't actually have enough photos of it. And so I do need to take more. Yeah, I don't see any. So let's go with that one that I've got. There's also this one, which I think is a little bit closer. Or it's just framed differently. Okay, this one works though. So let's just export this real quick. Just throw it on the desktop. Do we have any others that are worth taking out to try? These are from a long time ago, so I don't think so. And I want a daytime shot on top of that. There's some, and then we're going into Vegas and the Grand Canyon. Oh, the Grand Canyon. Did I ever show you guys like my favorite shot that I've ever taken on any trip? And it was this cowboy shot. Where is it? Where's the cowboy shot? This guy was like just legit dressed up as a cowboy, chilling out at the Grand Canyon, posed like this. And I was like, oh my God, I need to get this photo. And I look like a kid with the hat. Good. I feel younger. Like, look at that. I look like a posed photograph. But he was just hanging out watching the Grand Canyon. It's real interesting. All right, let's go into Photoshop. Let's open our desktop. Grab this photo. So we'll do video resolution. What? This is less than that? Like a 720 photo? All right, whatever. Who cares? It's all gonna be Photoshopped to look old anyway. And I don't need to fill the whole screen because it's gonna look like an aged photograph. So let's grab this one. Way higher resolution. Uh-oh. There we go. And the question becomes, how do we do this so that it looks like she's not a giant? So you could do, depth of field. If I put her here and then blur the background. Not that much, geez. It looks so cheesy with the lighting all off and everything. It's so crazy. Should I make her smaller? Or better if she's like down here? Is it because we know the scale of things? So like, what if we did this? We do some lens blur. Whoa. Too much. So let's... Well, first things first. Let's do this, because this is going to affect the way the image looks. We need to desaturate this thing. Let's do black and white with what are these different filters? Which one really... Whoa! No, that looks creepy. I don't want it blown out either. Yeah, let's just do default. Default's best. And then same thing here. But I think we could go darker with this one. Try and match that contrast a little bit. Is there any here that... Whoa. These all have so many different... The infrared makes it look like she's wearing lipstick. All right, so we'll go darker, but then let's also adjust the levels a little bit to match. So we've got that. There. So match is just a tad. Let's bring it out to like 50. Let's give this a blur. Not that much. You know what I think it is? It's blurring the entire image, but the image has its own depth, so it wouldn't be equally blurry. There'd be sort of like a... There'd be sort of a gradient of blur. Does this do something like that? Tilt shift. Yeah, it might be like a tilt shift or a path blur. Let's try tilt shift. But is there a reverse tilt shift? Whoa. Is path blur a new word for motion blur? Yeah, I think it is. Huh. No, we don't need that. Field blur. Oh. What's this about? Hold on. Let's turn these blurs off. What in the world? How does this work? So there's the blur amount. But what's having this? Whoa. That looks pretty cool. But it blurs everything at once. That's not what I want. I want tilt shift, but I want a flipped tilt shift where the sides are... No, actually I want a tilt shift where everything's blurry, I guess. Oh, what if I did it this way? Hold on. Can I could do that. Can I not rotate this thing? Tilt shift the other way. What are these things I'm doing? What am I doing? Stop. No tilt shift. These dots are still here. Get away, dots. I don't need these. Delete. I could also just do it manually. I do know there's a way to do it manually. Cancel. Just do something like this. Select that. And then modify feather to like 60 pixels. Then let's blur. Too much. And then what if I did something similar again? Then did more. That's sort of the effect I'm going for, but I don't think it looks fantastic. I guess I would also want something like this. I also just think the framing's weird. Like, something's not working with this. I need to figure out what it is. We add noise. Gotta add noise, it's old. Monochromatic. I think she needs to be blurry too a little bit, but not like too much. Like not like that, for instance, but like what's going to reduce the blurriness here? The radius? Yeah, it's the radius. Not like that, too much. Yeah, like that. Maybe do like 4. How's 4 look? Definitely adds to the like old age bit of it. What else can I do to this? Is there an adjustment layer thing I can do? Basically, oh yeah, maybe that's part of the solution, like fading it. Making it a less of a sharp contrast of her edge, like the edge of her to the photo. So I'm blurring the edges a bit. I think that might be contributing a little bit to the sort of green screen effect that it's got. I think it's kind of helping. What am I missing? There's so much that goes into like aging a color photo because you've got all the different color profiles and stuff, but this one I don't know. Let's also center this just so it's, put it like right there. Get rid of this stuff. Oh yeah, you know what, we could do that a little bit. Maybe add a little white border, like those old photos tend to have. I mean, it's getting there. I'm like looking up some black and white photos to see what else can be added. So many of these are really clear and nice looking. I'm trying to find bad ones that require restoration. What is this? Oh, like a grunge pattern. I don't want to use a grunge pattern. But what if there are bits that are just not missing? Yeah, I kind of want to make it look cracked, like old and cracked. I wonder how I could go about doing that. So what if... I'm just going to try something here. I don't know if this is going to work out well. This might be really bad, but experimenting is just part of the deal. Too much. No, hold on. We've got one there. Maybe we lower it down to like 10 for, I'll put like a crack here. Something like that. And then maybe we lower it again to like 5. Do like one there. There. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm like trying to think multiple steps ahead here. Something like that. All right, so we start with that. Let's see if we could go into the filter gallery and see if there's something we could do to like, I think in the brush strokes. No, they're so like, there's nothing to them, so there's nothing to distort here. Oh, sketch, that's what I'm thinking about. Man, even the torn edge is not really doing anything, huh? It's really mainly for stuff that has more to the image, I guess. So I was going to invert it. And I was going to see if I could blur it. No, blurring it I don't think is going to do the job. Would it? Switch to lighten. Or maybe even multiply? Nope, multiply doesn't do anything. Lighten is what I'm thinking of. I was basically trying a way to add distortions. I was trying to get like straight lines and see if there was a filter that would kind of like distort them so they'd look more like creases and cracks. But that wasn't working out there. I wonder if there's like, ooh, I wonder if I can grab like a, I wonder if this is a paintbrush I've got. I don't want to spend too long on this photo because this is going to be pretty quick. Do I have spatter brushes? I'll make a little layer. Oh, yeah, perfect. That's exactly what I want. Something like that, that I can then do that to reduce the image. If we do one like here. Something to make it look kind of old. Then we'll reduce the opacity so that it's there, but it's not like there. It's like there. Verse. So like that, basically. Yeah. That'll do for now. So let's save that. And then let's also save it as a PNG. So what's everyone up to this weekend? Got any good plans? Springtime plans? Let's import it. Oh no, it doesn't want to work. Apparently my computer everything seems fine on this end, so why is this saying the output's low? Not receiving enough video. You're still going. Yeah, I'm frozen. I don't know why it's doing that. Hello? I think I'm back. It's weird. I see myself moving smoothly here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off this preview. We'll leave just this one. Yeah, it's so weird. It's too much for my computer to handle, but all I was doing was saving a photo. Like, I wasn't doing anything super intensive. It wasn't like I was rendering anything. So I wonder what's going on there. And it's still saying that the stream health is low for the stream right now, even though it looks like it's going smoothly. That's very bizarre. I don't know why it's doing that.
Hello. My name's Betsy Henderson, and what is it now? Five generations in my family. My family has owned and operated this here Hollywood. Owned and
So now I'm just doing a little bit of the Ken Burn thing.
my family has owned and operated this here Hollywood.
And then we create a new color matte. Do all white. Put it underneath. Guess I could have just put it in the photo, but
Generations in my family has owned and operated.
and then I'll do like a lower third where it'll be like Agnes Henderson, 1930, whatever, so and so.
This here Hollywood Tower Hotel. Very proud of it, and I took over, gosh, in 1991.
All right, so let's see what B-roll clips of the resort we want to use. Yeah, I'm wondering what that lag is all about. Oh, and I apologize. Replay buffer, encoding, big screen, CBR padding. It's like really struggling. I could see that. Bitrate. Let's lower it a little bit and just see if that helps. I don't know if it will or if it'll hurt the stream. For me, with the Ken Burns effect, I feel like it's not even overused in terms of how frequently it's used. I think it's fine. I think what I try to avoid, at least, is I think when people do it, it's like very dramatic and fast and it moves a lot. And I feel like the proper way to do it is just like very slow and subtle. And oftentimes I'll set up the effect, and then once it's set up, I'll actually split the difference and slow it down like half as much as I originally used, just so it's like real slow and subtle. Okay, so let's just think what B-roll would work. Now, if we're playing up the whole idea of it's a hotel, I don't want this angle from the maybe do I like this frame here. I just don't like that all of this is here because it's, you know, a ride. This works. Oh, this definitely works. Now, will this play? No, it will not play without the stabilization. Well, let's just take the stabilizer off just for now. So that will stick around. I don't know if maybe we'll use this. What do we got here? No. Maybe I like that shot a lot. Maybe for when she talks about the elevator troubles, I'll use this shot. And then definitely we want to get the insides of the lobby. So we'll grab these two. Man, seeing it again, the high encoding. I don't get it. I'm not doing anything This computer's starting to frustrate me. I'm not doing anything that insane. I'm just scrolling through some clips here. And that's the weird thing. So now it's giving me the buffering thing and saying the stream health is good. That makes no sense. It's the opposite. But I could also tell my computer's struggling. So let's shut this down for one. Oh, that was a bad idea. I should have saved those. All right, well, I guess we're stuck with what we got for that old photo. Oh, bummer. I shouldn't have done that. My internet's typically fine. It's something's up with... Shoot. I'm trying to think of what else might be open that's... It could also be... I don't know. Firefox has been a memory hog in the past, but I use it for this other account. So it could be that. Here, I'm going to close a bunch of stuff just to be safe. We're going to close that. I'll close out of this. And hopefully that helps some. Now everything's smooth again, and now it's telling me that the health is poor. It's like whatever I'm seeing visually on the stream is the opposite of what YouTube is telling me, which I feel like says so much about YouTube. Hopefully these things are better now. We don't need that because we've already got that. The desk we can do. Get rid of these two. Yep, it's doing it again. I think, okay, you know what I think it is? Something's slowing down whenever I pull up something that has a warp stabilizer applied to it. Even though I'm not playing anything, even though I'm not trying to like analyze anything, just going to the clips with it seemed to be hurting it. So I'm just going to, we don't need the ride itself. So there we go. Because now that I've switched to the stuff that doesn't have it, it's smoothed out a little bit. So there we go. This is definitely going in. Let's try and figure out when to cut into these things.
Hello. Hello. My name's Betsy Henderson, and what is it now? 5 generations of my family has owned and operated this here Hollywood Tower Hotel. We're very proud of it, and I took over, gosh, in
Let's see.
hello. My name's Betsy Henderson, and what is it now? 5 generations of my family has owned and operated this here Hollywood Tower Hotel. We're very proud of it, and I took over, gosh, in 1991. In June, after my mom passed away, which was tough on all of us. Well, you know, it's really a family effort. So my husband Jim.
I wish I had shots of people that I could use for the people that she references. Where's the bit where she...
My cousin Joe does make.
Let's get... Yeah, this for the maintenance part.
My husband Jim helps me out a great deal. My cousin Joe. Jim helps me out a great deal. My cousin Joe does maintenance.
This is always the toughest part when editing this sort of stuff, is the where to put what B-roll.
My cousin Joe does maintenance, and he's been a big help. We've had a couple of elevator issues.
So that's when I want to cut to this.
And he's been a big help. We've had a couple of elevator issues recently, and you know, he's doing his best. He's doing his best to help fix it for us. His best. He's doing his best to help fix it for us. You know, some people are hoping for those modern conveniences like the.
And then we could cut to the B-roll for this of all of
You know, some people are hoping for those modern conveniences like the. You know, those
Where's the desk? Yeah.
You know, those iPads and whatnot in the rooms, and you know those little cobwebs, and you know, there are some friendly spirits around, and some people aren't so harsh.
So maybe I should move that. Maybe I should put that here.
You know.
How is the audio for this? Like, it's interesting because for me, what I'm hearing sounds pretty low. But I imagine you were all going deaf earlier, so I want to make sure it's still audible.
You know, come on down to Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, you know what? This actually might be good for that.
Like, you know, come on down to Sunset Boulevard. We're at the end corner here, and we'll find you a great room, nice and cozy.
I want to find something perfect to cut away to. Oh, yeah, this. I forgot about this clip.
Top floor.
In fact, let's reverse this so that instead of setting to go, it sets to stop. Sort of like a joke.
Top floor.
We only need this bit here.
Floor.
And then that'll be the cutout bit. So let's see what we got so far. I also, oddly, even though this was all... Did I resize something differently? It looks a little squished. So what I'm going to do is for scale, I'm going to not do uniform scale. Nope, that's not going to work with the audio. Ah, darn. I'd have to nest it. I was going to try and unsquish it by doing something like this. But the problem is then I have to... Then it does that, which is weird, which we don't want to do. So we are going to do uniform scale.
My family has owned an... hello, my name's Betsy Henderson, and what is it now? 5 generations of my family has owned and operated this here Hollywood Tower Hotel. We're very proud of it, and I took over, in 1991 in June after my mom passed away, which was too tough on all of us. Well, you know, it's really a family effort. So my husband Jim helps me out a great deal. My cousin Joe does maintenance, and he's been a big help. We've had a couple of elevator issues recently, and you know, he's doing his best. He's doing his best to help fix it for us. You know, some people are hoping for those modern conveniences like the, you know, those iPads and whatnot in the rooms, and you know those little.
I want to try and mask the cut with this B-roll here.
You know those little cobwebs, and you know, there are some friendly spirits around, and some people aren't so harsh. But I think it just makes it a little, like, you know. Come on down to Sunset Boulevard. We're at the end corner here, and we'll find you a great room, nice and cozy. Top floor.
Yeah, so I think the timing and the pacing works for this. I definitely need to do a lot of work on the audio, that's for sure. I think the balance of B-roll to cutting back to her is fine, especially because I don't have a ton of B-roll, unless I want to use this bit here to imply that this is her husband, Rod Serling. Maybe that would be fun to do. Let's see if we could throw it in there. Where was that?
So my husband Jim helps me out a great deal. My cousin Joe. It's really a family effort. So my husband Jim helps me out a great deal. My cousin Joe does maintenance, and he's been a big help. We've had a couple of elevator issues recently, and you know, he's doing his best. He's doing his best to help fix it for us. You know, some people are hoping for those modern conveniences like the mat in the rooms, and you know.
The other thing I have, no, I don't think it'll work because it's just not going to work out in terms of the aspect ratios. I have the Tower of Terror movie, but all that footage is 4:3, so that's not going to work. Okay, so we've got this. We actually might be able to move on to other stuff for the rest of the stream, just because I'm not sure what else I could do with this. I don't want to get too far into the audio editing because it's going to be a lot of loud and ugly audio at bits, and I don't know how I want to go about designing the lower thirds yet. So we can work on some of the other bits I've got here. So let's see, what do we have? The Stormtrooper one.
Well, basically, I've been applying and...
Ooh, that's probably loud for you guys. I'm sorry. Let's, okay. Let's find a way to lower this.
Get caught up in feeling down for not being able to be an actual stormtrooper.
Yeah, let's work on this bit. This bit's fun. So let's do the same thing. So we'll call this one Star Wars. And so for the Star Wars stuff, I think, where did I start capturing it? At this point, yeah. So all that can go. And then that's just us meeting Groot. Okay. Yep. So we get rid of all this stuff. So this is all we need. Let's fix the audio for all of it, because I'm sure it's going to be super loud. So let's select all, dialogue, loudness, auto match. Still pretty loud. Wow. Level. Okay, cool. So same thing. The way I'm kind of going about this is I'm trying to start with like the spine of this bit, which is going to be her interview, these two bits, and then the rest of this is all just B-roll that kind of gets added on around it. So this can all go here. So we just got to get this stuff. So let's see what we got.
So, what's your name and what do you do?
My name is Stevie Smith, and I am an intern for Captain Phasma's Stormtroopers.
Now, why are you an intern? Why aren't you a member?
Well, so I've been trying...
Also, Well, because
It's not gonna pick me up. Whenever I answer the question, try and like answer with the question.
Oh, sure.
so why are you an intern?
Why am I?
Got this bit here.
Why am I an intern? Well, basically, I've been applying, and I went through basic training, but apparently I've got flat feet. So it's kind of a liability issue. So basically, the closest I can get is to be an intern and, you know, get Phasma her coffee, get water for the boys, you know, hand them a towel if they're, you know, hot. Yeah, I just try to stay as involved as possible because I'm all about the cause, and this is the way I support the cause.
So that's gonna
is it
get cut
upsetting
down.
that you're an intern and you're never actually be a trooper?
I mean, you know, sure, I could get caught up in,
Be a trooper?
I mean, you know, sure, I could get caught up in feeling down for not being able to be an actual stormtrooper, but I try to look on the bright side, or dark side, really. So I think that, you know, there are no small parts in, you know, in this legion of stormtroopers, and if I can support them and help them do their jobs better, then I think I'm doing a good job. I have got an important job too, so yeah.
What does the first order mean to you?
What does the first order mean to me? What does the first order mean to me? I mean, it just means you know, toughness and, well, order, it's right there in the name. And, you know, controlling everything and making it good. Well, that's good. Good. What does the first order mean to me? It means power. It means taking control of everything in the galaxy and making it better for everybody. Because, you know, somebody's got to be in charge. Somebody's got to make the tough decisions. And I trust the First Order to make those tough decisions and to make the galaxy a more livable place for all of us, you know? Like they just have our best interests at heart. So they just have our best interests at heart.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hold on, let me see. Is this the... Okay, yeah.
See yourself in 5 years.
Where do I see myself in 5 years? You know, in 5 years, I see myself still going strong with the First Order. You know, I'm going to get some work done on my feet. Got a good podiatrist, you know, provided by my First Order health insurance. So, you know, I hope to be wearing that armor. And I'm just going to keep fighting for what I believe in. And that's the most important thing.
And then say like, just be like, you know, you can do anything you set your mind to, and you know, look at
Vader over there. He started as just a little kid. Took a positive.
Get on there.
You know, I think you can do whatever you set your mind to. And,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
you might want to.
We had to stop because the Ariel show let out, and so it was super loud and crowded.
You know, I believe you can do anything you set your mind to. I mean, look at Mr. Vader, okay? He started out as a kid, a mechanic in a junk shop. And then he almost ruled the galaxy. So, you know, there's nothing holding you back but you. And that's the kind of attitude that I try to have.
This is perfect. I feel like I need to figure out where to shorten it. There's a lot here. This whole thing is like 3 minutes, and I feel like it could be 2. So I got to find stuff that we're going to cut out now. So now I'm going to run through it again, but this time I'm going to start removing stuff.
So, what's your name and what do you do?
My name is Stevie Smith, and I am an intern for Captain Phasma's Stormtroopers. Why am I an intern? Well, basically, I've been applying, and I went through basic training, but apparently I've got flat feet. So, flat feet.
So like there, like the joke I wanted to be is she can't join, she's got flat feet. So I think that's where we could jump out. This autosave. There we go.
So, it's kind of a liability issue. So basically, the closest I can get Phasma her coffee, and, you know, is to be an intern and, you know, get Phasma her coffee, get water for the boys, you know, hand them a towel if they're, you know, hot. Yeah, I just try to stay as involved as
So if we cut all of this out, it'll jump like
apparently
this.
I've got flat feet. I just try to stay as involved as possible because I'm all about the cause, and this is the way I support the cause. You know, sure, I could get caught up in feeling down for not being able to be an actual stormtrooper, but I try to look on the bright side, or dark side, really.
That's the good joke there.
I think that, you know, there are no small parts in, you know, in this legion of stormtroopers, and if I can support them and help them do their jobs better, then I think I'm doing a good job. If I can support them and really, if I can support them and help them do their jobs better, then I think I'm doing a good job. I have got an important job too. So, what does the First Order mean to me?
I think this might get cut.
Somebody's got to be in charge. Where do I see myself in 5 years?
Yeah, I think so.
So, where do I see myself in 5 years?
So I want to kind of cut part of this, but also kind of use part of it. So I want to use this. I want that video. I don't need the audio.
You know, in 5 years, I see myself still going strong with the First Order.
So I want to do this, basically.
Where do I see myself in 5 years? You know, in 5 years, I see myself still going strong with the First Order. Still going strong with the First Order. You know, I'm going to get some work done on my feet. Got a good podiatrist. You know, provide what I believe in. You know, I believe you can do anything you set your mind. You know, I believe you can do anything you set your mind to. I mean, look at Mr. Vader, okay? He started out as a kid, a mechanic in a junk shop. And then he almost ruled the galaxy. So, you know, there's nothing holding you back but you. And that's the kind of attitude that I try to have.
So there we go. Cut it down from like 3 minutes and so to a minute and a half. I think that's great. I think it's all of the best bits. Now I think it's just a matter here of getting all of the B-roll so we don't need any of the audio for this. We did some stuff whenever the stormtroopers showed up. We did some stuff that was hopefully like in character. We'll go through this long clip in a second, but I want to get these smaller clips first. I think, did I get any? Oh, no. I was trying to get like her marching in time. Here we go. For the Mr. Vader bit. So like this, I think, is going to be good. So where's that bit where she talks about Mr. Vader?
Anything you set your mind to. I mean, look at Mr. Vader, okay? You know, I believe you can do anything you set your mind to. I mean, look at Mr. Vader, okay? He started out as a kid, a mechanic in a junk shop. And then he almost ruled the galaxy.
Perfect. So we gotta find a spot for this. We're gonna. Oh, these are just baby ducklings. I don't think these belong in here. These guys were so cute. They were just walking around Hollywood Studios. Here we go. This is another one. So I was trying to get like shot, reverse shot. That's going to be good. We're going to use that. I don't know if that's going to be useful. And then I had this like really long clip of her just watching the First Order doing their thing. Oh, and I think I have some of her marching? No? Grab that. Oh yeah, this might be great. No, not so great. All right, let's see what we can get with these bits. I might have to pull some older footage of like the stormtroopers. So let's see. What do we got? We got this.
Basic training, but I'm all about. My name is Stevie Smith, and I am an intern for Captain Phasma's Stormtroopers. Why am I an intern? Well, basically, I've been applying, and I went through basic training, but apparently I've got flat feet. I just try to stay as involved as possible. I just try to stay as involved as possible because I'm all about the cause, and this is the way I support the cause.
Forget a little bit before.
I just try to stay as involved as possible because I'm all about the cause, and this is the way I support the cause. You know, sure, I could get caught up in feeling down for not being able to be an actual stormtrooper, but I try to look on the bright side.
Do I have any of her like clapping them along or something? Okay, this might work. Her sort of nodding her head along to what they're doing. Like there.
I try to look on the bright side, or dark side, really.
Oh yeah, I want to get that on of her.
But I try to look on the bright side. Able to be an actual stormtrooper, but I try to look on the bright side, or dark side, really. If I can support them and help them do their jobs better, then I think I'm doing a good job. I have got an important job too. So where do I see myself in 5 years? You know, in 5 years, I see myself still going strong with the First Order. You know, I'm going to get some work done on my feet. Got a good podiatrist. You know, I believe you can do anything you set your mind to. I mean, you know, I believe you can do anything you set your mind to. I mean, look at Mr. Vader, okay? He started out as a kid, a mechanic in a junk shop. And then he almost ruled the galaxy. So, you know, there's nothing holding you back but you. And that's the kind of attitude that I try to have.
All right. We can still use this. That's not going to be usable. Trying to think. We've got we could probably do some other vlog stuff in this the stream here today. Sorry I'm not as talkative with the editing bits. I'm like really listening to try and make sure there's more of a flow to it, and there's not much to like the process beyond just listening and waiting for it to hear good, for it to sound good, for it to hear good. Oh, here's a really good clip of Phasma just sort of walking along. Let's see if this helps. I think she's nodding her head to the march, which doesn't work when there's no audio as much. So I think it has to be a shorter clip here. So let's see.
If I can support them and help them do their jobs better, then I think I'm doing a good job. I have got an important job too. So where do I see myself in 5 years? You know, in 5 years, I see...
Okay, I think we're good. I think we got some B-roll. I think we're in a similar situation here at the Tower Terror one. I got to do some work on the audio. I need to get a music track, some lower thirds. I don't know where I'm going in the direction with those things. We have 1/3 bit here, but I don't have... That's going to require more photoshopping and planning, so I don't know if that's going to work to do. We can start certainly editing the next part.
Yelp review of the Hollywood Tower Hotel.
So let's do that. Let's start playing with the regular vlog. So let's go ahead. We'll set up a part 3. Just copying a timeline, I have a feeling, is going to create lag. It's so weird. We'll put that in here. We've got part 2. So let's just start editing away. So this is still part of the rough period where I didn't really have a ton footage-wise, so I don't know what this is going to look like.
A cat.
Yeah.
Wait, what's going on here?
Huh? Pennsylvania. Okay. Please reach in the cart, take it out. Let me know whether you like it or whether you want to change. Completely up to you. Okay. How you feeling about that card, Tobias? Do you like it or do you want to change it for another? You can either keep the 9 of clubs or you can change it. So I could see it in your mirrored sunglasses. I couldn't help. I had to look, right? I'm sorry.
So we keep that.
Was the only one. 4, 5, 6, 3.
This might make for good B-roll. Yeah, overall.
Frozen, sing along first.
You know it. I got fast passes so we can be in the front row.
Yes.
That could be a good cold open. That's just Starbucks. That's just a billboard. This is just cat singing. Get a few seconds of. Oh, the vlogs, these vlogs, they're tough.
Which I've never actually
So you
seen.
haven't Cat,
Rob.
when you think of Hollywood studios, you think of Hollywood.
Yes.
When you think of Hollywood, what do you think of? What's the movie that to you defines Hollywood?
Casablanca.
Casablanca.
Which I've never actually
So you
seen.
haven't seen it.
No, actually, you know what? You know what makes me think of Hollywood is
What?
a movie like Singing in the Rain, or
Okay.
like a movie musical that is about the industry.
Oh.
You know, like that
So
to
like
me
La
is
La Land?
quintessential Hollywood.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I just don't
Not La La Land?
like La La Land. I don't like it.
What
don't.
about Geostorm?
I've never even seen it.
Well, now we've got to go do that. Forget Disney.
That
Let's go watch
sounds like
Geostorm.
an instant hit.
Okay, there's a gag there.
Where would you suggest people go on their first visit on Star Tours?
Well, I'm gonna level with you. Every place you could go is a little rough. So, I mean, personally, I think that Coruscant is a nice, like, cosmopolitan area. If you want to see some interesting geological features, you could always go to Crate. Jakku, if you want to pick up some spare parts for your ship. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just weren't on our stride that day.
Yelp review of the Hollywood Tower Hotel.
I'm gonna have to say 2 stars because I'm gonna have to.
And also, this is the other thing. I was way too close.
Did you hear that guy? He just like walked by and he made a farting sound right like. I'm gonna give it 2 stars.
Why?
Because, well, A, they haven't updated in a long time. I'm gonna give it 2 stars.
Why?
Because, well, A, they haven't updated in a long time. B, they're...
It's doing it again. High encoding CPU usage. I need to fix this thing, and I don't know how. Encoding. Let's do this. Hopefully that helps. I keep lowering the bit rate. I don't know if that's gonna fix things, but hopefully it does.
Obviously, they never clean. Like, the place is full of cobwebs. They're maintenance team obviously does absolutely nothing because their elevators are extremely faulty. And I think that the maid, when she tried to clean, she couldn't because she was kind of like transparent. She couldn't like pick anything up or like actually wipe any dust off. I think maybe she was like a ghost or something. Like, I mean, I will give it 1 star for atmosphere because if you like a quiet, kind of like, you know, creepy atmosphere, they've got it down pat. So that's why I give it 2 stars, because I don't think you can leave a 0-star review on Yelp. So, I mean, the plus side is everybody, even though they can't really do their jobs, everybody on the staff is like extremely friendly. But yeah, I'd watch out for that elevator because it's a little sketch.
That will keep. Oh yeah, I got a lot of footage of this.
Luke Skywalker was there.
There?
Yeah, and he flew up using...
Maybe I'm just not feeling the vlogs today. A lot of B-roll, B-roll, more B-roll, some more B-roll. What? That was it for Hollywood Studios? Oh, the rest of this is all Disney Springs. Interesting.
Cat.
Loud. Oh, this is super loud. Hold on, I gotta change the audio before I play anything. Or, we can just do it this way. Audio gain, -20. There we go. There's just a lot of people dancing. That's sort of the, man. I realize I keep talking about it, but I need to figure out the camera situation better for future vlogs.
Oh, and Enzo. Special K.
I bet he's here every night.
Guys just killing it. And then this I wanted for the outro of the balloon going up. Which we waited forever for. There we go. Oh, ceiling lizards.
The famous Florida ceiling lizard. It's a natural habitat. Hope it doesn't fall on the camera. What? Hey, little buddy.
All right. I feel like we could get a full vlog out of that, all that orange stuff, and then this is like a ton of footage for our day at the Magic Kingdom, so we could drop all of this stuff and we'll just focus on Hollywood Studios. I think because we have a whole bunch of longer little bits in there. But here's the deal. We got about a half hour left in the stream. I want to mix things up a little bit. I feel like I've been dragging a little bit with the stream, partially because the footage was like a little tough to get through, and I guess the editing wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be. So I'm trying to think of like other... I'm like always trying to think of other behind the scenes stuff you guys might want to watch in these live streams, and so I'm trying to think of like what might be good, or if we want to do some sort of like I don't know, discussion on what else I can do within these live streams. You know what I can do, although if editing has been killing it, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I've been working on cutting out all of these frames for a channel trailer for Rob Plays Adventure Co. And I I actually would love to see how this effect ends up looking, how well or poorly I did with the, the multiplane effect. And start putting that thing together. I don't know what I'm gonna put together fully. I gotta like I have to basically write a, why am I blanking? I have to write a voiceover. So let's go to footage, trailer. This is everything I've got. I'm gonna import all of them. Nope, don't need just a flat PSD. That's not what I wanted. I guess, oh, you know what? I have to do that when I'm importing. Select all of them and do import as composition. There we go. So the castle, I think, will probably be the best example of what I'm trying to create here. And so I'll do a new camera, which turns this into a 3D. Yes, we will do that. So now it's a 3D composition, which is really cool because it allows you to not just move things left and right, but forward and backwards. So our background is going to be back here a bit. And then the castle is going to be here. I guess I have to scale it up, right? It's like, what if I did 110? So that it basically has to block itself behind it. Like so. Although I can already see, oh, how does that effect work then? How do they do that? And then the spire itself, same thing. 110. And then move that forward. And then over. So the idea is, if I want to move the camera now, maybe I want to back it up. Oh no, I gotta back it up and move it around a little bit. That's what it is. So how would we go about doing this? It's been so long since I've done 3D stuff, and I can already see it starting to melt the stream. So I guess I'm not gonna do too much of it. No. Z? No. How do I do this? So if I switch my view to top, so now you can see, so the way this works is each of these represents a layer. So this would be like the background, and this would be a layer, and this would be a layer, and here's my camera all the way over here. So if we want the point of interest to be over here, although that's not moving the point of interest. There's the point of interest. So if we do the point of interest here, then we can take this, remove this edit, start the camera over here. Eek. Hey PK421, thank you for the congratulations. There we go. Okay. So you see, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create this sort of curved movement. So I'm going to start here and then end with it sort of over here some. And it's going to look really bad. But like, this is the idea, right? So you've got this movement that creates the illusion of depth. But if we take, maybe we could animate the movement of the layers so that they remain over what they need to. It's like that needs to remain there. And then the castle's tough too. I think that has to be even bigger, yeah. We'll put it up here some. So we start it there. And then at the end, we need to move that over as well. So it looks like this. And then the idea is this is like its full size. So if we did a new composition and we just did it like a normal thing, then we put the castle here. And then we can scale this thing so it's cropped. So now it doesn't work out perfectly, but you get the idea I'm trying to go with. I'm trying to essentially create these sort of this vibe of it's a 3D image with minor movement. But I think I need to play around with these layers more. It's not working out as much as I wanted it to. And I keep seeing this high encoding CPU thing, so I'm afraid you guys aren't seeing anything, period. Let's see what happens when we take this off. It's got that effect too, but I like the 3D effect more. I gotta do more work to figure out how to do this. Let's try with something simpler. Let's do that. This is like a learning. You guys are coming along for the learning exercise where I'm trying to just figure this out. Okay, here's a good one. So let's make this 04. So here's one. I think having multiple layers is part of what made this a little bit more difficult. So let's do the background is further away, but bigger. And then cat is going to be closer up. Doesn't have to be bigger. So we've got that. And then we just have a new camera. There we go. It's a very minor effect, but this is what I'm trying to go for essentially. And I wonder if I did lighting, this might actually break the stream. So hold on one second. Hey Lion. Lion says, why haven't you been posting on your blog? I still post on the blog. I post about every 2 or 3 days. If I check right now, the latest one went up on... Latest post went up on Thursday. So it's Friday, Saturday. So I'll probably write another one tonight. But it's just every so often. Yeah. It's not like an everyday thing. And as for the link, just a moment, but I can pass that along to you. Yes. So this is going good. Oh, right. I was going to do the thing that might break the stream, which is lighting. A spotlight. Whoa. So let's move our light back so that it covers more stuff. And part of how this creates the effect is if you have it set up here. So we've got our 2 layers. So with the material options, we could do cast shadows on. And then on top of that, in the background, we have to go into our material options and turn accept shadows on. Oh, it is on. Great, great. Light transmission. Oh, like the thing transmits light itself? Accepts lights on, ambient, diffusion, right. So I don't know if it's actually going to cast a shadow because the light is too far away. Let's see. Yeah, it's not actually casting a shadow. Ambient diffuse. Trying to figure out why that's not working. Cast shadows on. Light transmission, no. Ambient diffuse, maybe don't. Oh, yeah. It's oh, that's diffusing like the light hitting it. It could just be that the light's not hitting at the right angle. Custom view. Yeah, so this is what it kind of ends up looking like. Why can't I move? There we go. Oh, that's kind of why. I guess depending on where this is, it's not casting a shadow on it. So let's go back. And I bet if we move our light, we're going to get the shadow. It's going to have to be moved way over here. Maybe a little bit closer. I think its point of interest needs to move too. I don't know if this is going to actually create the effect I need it to create, though. Like, I think this alone might do the trick. And then what I would do is I would just move this up so it's like here, because I only need this to be like a second or two. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be aging all of this stuff so it looks a little bit like older film. So we're going to do a couple of things with this. So here's where we've got that. We have this comp one, which is essentially going to be a 1080p. All these photos must have been like sub 1080p for it to be like this. But we're going to do a couple of things. First, let's scale it up so it fits this, right? Then what we want to do is we want to make this look old. So we can do a couple of ways. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play with curves. So by playing with the curves, I can kind of essentially make it look worse in a weird way. That's kind of what you're aiming to do when you're aging stuff like this. Is the idea is, no, red, we want red. We're trying to mess up the colors because this is back when, you know, the idea is you're looking at old aged film. So all of the color curves are just sort of slightly off. They're just not doing their job. And then on top of that, we can add, where's my vibrance color correction? Oh, we'll do levels. So the other thing, because it is sort of faded, is we kind of change this so the darks, there's no like pure black on here. It's just kind of faded a little bit. And then we can also do use saturation. Now, some people say turn down the saturation to make it look older, but I'm kind of going for like this hyper saturated 70s look. So I'd actually turn it up a little bit. So now it's turned up some. And then if I wanted to, I could do a new solid. This goes over everything. And then we're going to do a rounded rectangle. I'm going to do a little bit wider than usual. I don't want to do a pure square. And what I'm creating here, yeah, something like this works. And then the idea is let's move the whole thing over so that it's a little bit centered, a little bit more centered. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this mask and we're going to feather it so it's a little bit blurry. And then the key is we're going to reverse it. So instead of adding, it's subtracting, right? And so now we've got this sort of projector style look that makes it look like it's that. Now, do I have this saved in my footage? I might not, actually. No, I don't. Huh. So let me see. What I'm essentially, I have saved, I guess I got rid of it. Or maybe I have to find it. I have to go digging for it. But I have a sort of like old scratches and stuff, which is the other thing we got to add. We got to add some noise to this. So let's do noise. We're going to do grain. And we're going to do more of a grain intensity. And viewing mode, final output. It's too much, too intense, too intense. Lower the grain intensity. Something like that. Right? So like just for comparison, this was the original. This is what we got it looking like for now. I'm going to, oh, that's what I want to do. That's what we're missing. So for this, we're going to take the background and we're going to apply a slight blur effect. So we're going to do a blur here. And that's going to help separate her from the background even more. So you see it's sort of got that sense of there. The other thing I need to make sure we add to this is we have motion blur turned on. That makes it feel a little bit more real. And then what am I missing? Oh, right, the lens flare effect that I have going on. So here's the way I do that. I do a new solid. Right, it's all black. From this effect, what we're going to do is we're going to create a bunch of noise, and it's called, where is it? Fractal noise. And see, it kind of makes like this cloud-looking effect there. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to reduce the complexity, so it's kind of blocky. And then I'm going to blow it way up, so it's kind of big here. And then I'm also going to lower the brightness and increase the contrast. So we've got like these big splotches of white. Let's see, I've created this here now. This is what we've done. And what I'm going to do to this effect then is I am now going to go in and under color correction, I'm going to do hue saturation, and we're going to colorize it. We're going to make it red. You can even turn up the saturation quite a bit so it's super red. And then what we're going to do is for blending mode, we're going to do, is it add? Yeah, okay. So add does this, and then on top of that, we're going to lower the opacity because we don't want it to be this overt. And there. And so it sort of creates this, I don't know, I wouldn't call it like a lens flare. It's more like a light leak. It's when, you know, the camera, back when you had the film days, and if it wasn't, you know, perfect, it wouldn't, if it wasn't perfectly sealed off from the light, your film had a chance of being kind of messed up when you went to actually go and develop it. And so we've got these little burns and flares there. And then the other thing that you can do with it is you can animate it. So what we're going to do is we're going to animate the, not complexity, I think it's the evolution we're going to do. So from here to there, we're going to have it evolve a little bit. And so over time, it'll kind of move. And I think we really just need to turn down this opacity. It shouldn't be this bad. It should be like that. And so we've got this effect. And ultimately, we're only going towards here anyway. I'm hoping this is all watchable. I keep seeing this CPU thing going on, and I hope it's not freezing the stream. And so this is the sort of effect. Now I could do some other things to it. So one of the things I'll do is actually, I'll go into this comp 1 and I'll make a copy of it called comp 2. And then in, oops, comp 1, I'll remove our little effect there. And then here, I'm going to remove this stuff and I'm going to drop comp 1 in. So everything I do applies to the image as a whole. And so I'm going to add another layer of blur. So we're going to have a, where is it? Gaussian blur. And then like here, what we'll do is we'll animate it. So it has no blur. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames. We'll do like enough of a blur that it's noticeable, like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go back to no blur. And so the idea is, and I don't know if this is going to play back without the stream crashing. It basically, you've got these little moments here where it like blurs for just a second and then unblurs. And it kind of looks like either the camera's trying to find focus or maybe it was just the projector fell out of focus for a second. But it adds that like sort of imperfection to it. And then the other thing we can do is with this, we can do a position here to here. And then if you select your 2 keyframes, we've got this tool called the Wiggler, which essentially takes 2 keyframes and it says, okay, in between these 2 keyframes, we're going to wiggle these settings around a bit. So it kind of, if you see a lot of like animated stuff where it looks like things are handheld, that's usually the effect that they're trying to use to do it with. And so because this is a very short clip, it's only 2 seconds, the frequency can be lower. We don't need, 5 adjustments per second. Maybe we do 3, but we do want it to be more noticeable. So maybe I'll do a magnitude of 4. And as you see, it just creates these keyframes. And so it sort of moves the image. And it's hard to play back smoothly. Even without the stream going on, I would have to like render this to like really get a good idea of how the animation looks. But essentially the way it works is it looks like the camera, that whatever was recording this cutout, wasn't as smooth as it's supposed to be. And it's all in an effort to sort of create this idea that this is all imperfect and filmed in person. And it's just a really cool, fun look. And I think compared or combined with this like 1970s vibe to it, it ends up being really cool, like just even cooler. And then I just need to find I have a clip of like film scratches and stuff that I could overlay on top of this that even makes it look even more like film. And so the idea is I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of things like this where it's just photos of us on our trips and it'll be like a voiceover where it's like, join us on this and that vacation. It's going to have that sort of cheesy music that's in the new intro. Hard Hitters asks, did you get the intro song for Rob Plays Adventure Co. from the YouTube audio library? I did not. I actually got that from the Epidemic Sound Library, which I'm a member of. It's like it's a paid subscription service that gives you access to their library to use their music in YouTube videos. I find that the quality of their music's a little bit better and more varied. And it was one I had saved for... I couldn't find a video that I wanted to use it with. And as I was going through trying to think of bumper music, I heard this and I immediately envisioned something like this sort of hyper-saturated 70s old film look, that's sort of like cheesy tourism film that you kind of, I get a little bit of the vibes of on the Three Caballeros in Mexico, where it's just like, it's aged, it's not done on purpose. And so I started working on that intro, and after I made the effects with like the tiki in the background and the colors and the music, I was like, oh yeah, this is the style that I want to carry over to the whole channel in general, which doesn't necessarily mean all the videos are going to look like that, but things like the trailer will and the bumper will for sure. And yeah, it's just oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, I was just thinking I want to adjust this mask real quick before I forget. Where's my mask? There it is. Let's select this all. It's not totally centered. Let's move it up just a tad. There we go. And so, yeah. And that's the look. And this actually is reminiscent of a old animated film by this production company called MK12 that I remember seeing when I was in the 8th grade, which was a very long time ago. And it was an entire short story kind of animated in this style with more of a 50s, 60s vibe than a 60s, 70s vibe. And it always stuck with me. And that's how I ended up, I remember emailing them when I was a kid and being like, how do you do that? And they told me about After Effects and all these programs. And that's when I started looking into them and trying to learn how to do it. So the thought of jumping back into a project that kind of mimics the style that originally got me into doing this sort of stuff to begin with was just like too much to pass up. So I was like, yeah, I'm totally going to grab this opportunity and do it. So I want to do more stuff like this. I think it'll be fun. And I just like that it's like hyper stylized. Let me check one thing real quick. So we're going to wrap up the stream in a second. There's a couple of things that I want to mention before I do. I just want to double check all these things. Okay, so let me pull up my calendar. I'm going to announce all of this on the podcast, by the way. So all this information, if you're just joining now, or maybe you're watching the VOD or something, or you were hoping to hear it at the beginning of the podcast, I'll mention it again later on. So let's figure a couple things out. Let's get ourselves all situated with the, actually, why don't I just pull up the calendar here so y'all can see the calendar. No reason to hide it. Let's get some dates going. So here's our May. We need to do live streams. I like to do one in the middle of the month. I like to do one at the end of the month. I like to do a Saturday. I like to do like a Tuesday, Wednesday sort of thing. I don't think I'm going away. We've got some recordings. We got a lot of D&D play testing going on. So how about this? Sunday the 13th. Let's do Sunday the 13th. We will do live stream at 3 p.m. Have I been putting these in exporting? Yeah, I think so. And then the other one we'll do later on. That'll be midweek. So we could do like, I don't want to do Wednesday because that's when the video goes live. And then so there's not a whole lot of things to do. So let's do that on a Tuesday because I'll probably still have some editing to do. So we'll have a live stream and we'll do that at, we can do that at 7 p.m. So everybody who has time to get home from school, from work, all that sort of stuff. And then we've got the Hangout, the Google Hangout that is like quarterly. I want to do that sooner rather than later. So I'm thinking we could do that next Saturday. So we could do the quarterly Hangout. And that will be, I guess, at... let's do that at 12 p.m. because... No, let's do that at 1 p.m. So that way it should be okay. It's the morning for people on the West Coast. It's still early enough in the day so people overseas will be able to get to tune in, and we'll see how long that goes. So those are the 3 dates for the 3 upcoming things. Lion, I will get you that link. I just need to figure out where to post it because I can't post it in the chat at the moment. But I will get it to you right after the stream ends. So we're going to do all of that. I'm going to cover what we'll do in all of these on the podcast tomorrow. I also am going to end up putting out a poll. I was just thinking as we were doing this stream, I was kind of tired during it, which is my fault. There's nothing, that was on me for not getting enough sleep. But we've been doing a lot of post-production streams. We've done a couple of production streams. We've done some writing stuff, research. I want to get a feel from everybody who watches as to like what they enjoy the most so that I can do more of that, because my biggest fear with any of these streams is that I'm kind of boring to watch, right? I'm just sitting there watching footage over and over again. That's sort of, I don't know if that's the most exciting thing in the world, but it is... I want it to be whatever you guys want it to be. So I'm going to put out a poll probably tomorrow with the podcast, or tonight with the podcast, asking you all, like, when it comes to the perks, what stuff do you like the most and what stuff do you not like, or what stuff isn't there that you wish was there, that sort of thing. And we'll get that going. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this. We've got 2 bits, you know, in a rough assembly edit that I could like now clean up, and I think that'll make editing the later part of the vlogs a lot easier. And I might even move the Hollywood Tower one up a couple episodes so that it's not just comedy bits at the end of the vlog and nothing at the beginning. It just sort of spread it out, even though it doesn't match up time-wise. And then we've got the very baby first steps of doing this channel trailer, which I want to try and get done within the next week or two so that I'll have something up as the channel grows. Thank you all for watching. Have a great week. Whatever you guys are doing, make the most of it because it makes it that much better. I'm also going to do some research into why the stream was acting so weird this whole time. Normally my computer's been able to take it, so hopefully the next stream will be a little bit smoother. Anyway, I'll see you all next time. Have a great weekend, everybody.